We are in the midst of unprecedented change. We are at a turning point in history, which is larger and more important to our species than any other time in history. And I start this with this statement because I wish to get your attention. And that's the title of my talk. Brother and sister, can you paradigm? Yeah, the pun is intentional. So, and I noticed last week that I probably, a lot of people may not understand that pun, but because not everyone knows that song. Brother, can you spare a dime? But anyway, the question is, can you change the model of an aspect of your life? And that's what a paradigm is. It's an example, a model. Today in our congregation, we're going to discuss a change in a paradigm. It seems that no longer can we continue to have, we cannot continue as we have. It's not economically feasible to continue to operate this church at a $2,000 to $3,000 deficit each month. We will discuss certain changes in the paradigm that may or may not allow us to continue existence. But no matter what we choose, it will not be acceptable to everyone. Some of us have finally discovered a place that we feel welcomed and loved. Others have a long history with this church, Unity in the Olympics, and hate to see it come to an end. Some like the fellowship and the people. I do not wish giving up meeting one another. Others will not wish to see ownership and control of this building go to someone else. There are many reasons that we want to keep the status quo. But it may be impossible without some drastic changes. Therefore, the need of a new paradigm. Reverend Julie, and it is Julie, by the way, Julie Labattle, has come to us at an interesting time. Can she be the catalyst for a new paradigm? Or the deeper question may be, are we ready for a new paradigm? You know, what we are experiencing is something all of society is experiencing at this time. Here in America, we're experiencing great upheavals in all aspects of what has been taken for granted for so long. Without blaming anyone, and I'm sure we all can blame someone, but without doing that, long established institutions are being torn down, discarded, unfunded, and most of this seems to be senseless and the work of spiteful individuals. We grow angry, and maybe we are supposed to be angry, but is there a reason for all of this? Well, as many of you know, and I'm not really changing the subject here, but it's going to sound like it. The question of otherworldly intelligences is one in which I not only believe, but also know to be true. I keep abreast of what's going on, not just in this world, but also beyond this world. From sources I trust and from my own experiences, I am aware of a larger picture of what's going on. Contact with entities not of this world are becoming more and more frequent. Too frequent to be ignored or disbelieved. Hundreds of thousands of individuals are reporting not only sightings of UAPs or UFOs, but actual contact with the entities who are in those crafts. And that's not just here in the United States, it's worldwide. Within 4 years, I predict that such contact will be made known worldwide. But more than that, we will experience a change in our society which will allow such contact to happen. And that change will be a new paradigm. It's not going to happen overnight. It's gradual, and it comes not from outside of us, but from within us. I want to share with you a little story. I had a friend about my age, and this was when I was in my 50s. Gosh, that seems like so long ago. Anyway, he and I were in our office, in his office, essentially, and he received a package that he'd been waiting for. And he opened it, and it was packed in plastic peanuts. We all know what plastic peanuts are like. Well, we proceeded to open it up and to unpack it. And, of course, the peanuts went everywhere. You know, they were all over the floor and just everywhere. So we started to pick them up. And it was wintertime, and it was dry. And you know what happens when static electricity and plastic peanuts get together? We were picking up those peanuts and trying to put them in a wastebasket, and they wouldn't go. They'd go down and they'd fly off to the sides. They'd stick on our arms. They'd get in our hair. We had plastic peanuts all over the place, except not in the wastebasket. Here were two men in their 50s on the floor, laughing and giggling and just having the most fun. You talk about it. You know, I got to think about that after. Golly. You know, there I was in the 50s, and it was just fun, just plain fun. There was a time of pure joy. And as I thought about it later, I realized how good it felt. Following the events of the moment without judgment, because we could have judged, oh, this stupid peanuts, we could have judged. But we didn't. We didn't have frustration. All we had was laughter and joy. It's taken me a long time to realize the importance of being in the moment like we were at that moment. The importance of not judging, of simply acceptance and experiencing the awe and the laughter of the moment. I could have grown frustrated and angry, but instead I accepted the situation as it was, and I found joy in it. This is a choice which every one of us can make, to back away from the drama and examine our own beliefs and our own motivations and our own reactions to what's outside of us, but then to discover the joy in every moment. To be heart-centered in a mind, emotional-centered world. To not judge what our eyes perceive, the outside world, but to choose from our hearts. To choose a higher frequency acceptance of life with the understanding that our egos are not to be in control, but rather our hearts are to be open and accepting of each moment. Knowing that the change, if we fight it, will just make it harder on ourselves. So my advice is to ride the wave of change. Surf the crest of the change and rise up to see the larger picture. Raise the frequency of your life through your thoughts and your actions. Be ready for the next great event in your life. And this is how we become heart-centered. Along with the practical advice which I've given before of rhythmic breathing, of having a rhythm to your breathing where it could be slow, it could be shallow, it could be fast, it could be deep, whatever is comfortable for you. To find that rhythmic breathing. And when you do that rhythmic breathing, that helps the heart and the brain to synchronize. So that the heart rules the brain. And the brain then is able to take and get the details of what the heart wants to do. And when you do that, you're also coming into communication with that higher aspect of yourself. Some call it the higher self, or as Julie said last week, was it intelligees? Intelligees. Okay, intelligees. To become the heart-centered person that we are meant to be. Can that be our next paradigm? As the song said, we are the people we've been waiting for. It is up to us. We need to work together to create a new paradigm of a higher frequency. A heart-centered world.